Oh, here's all your people.
Oh, we'll put all in. Oh.
Hey, Paxton Darks, turn it down a little bit.
We'll get a little drink and then people are logging on there. I'll bring you the chart.
Hi guys, just a reminder, make sure you're on mute for now. So go ahead and make sure you're muted if you're not already. Just a reminder, go ahead and put your name in the chat if you haven't already done that. And we'll be taking some attendance here in just a minute. We're waiting a few minutes. We're still a few minutes early, so we're just waiting a few minutes for the rest of our friends to pop on. Don't forget, if you just joined us, make sure you put your name in the chat. Miss Melissa's going through, I think, and checking attendance off to make sure everybody's here. So if you haven't already, make sure you put your name over in the chat. All right, Miss Melissa, do you have anybody that you are missing that you want to check in and see if they're here? Maybe they just didn't get their name put in chat yet.
Hey guys, good afternoon. Elliot and Araya, but I think they're, oh, there she is. Okay, I got her.
It's
Nick,
Aya, not Agaya.
I'm sorry. I'll learn that. I'll get that eventually. Nick Goddard and Mason Gore, you guys out there? Got Eliza now.
Let the people in the meeting know. I think.
So make sure you're muted. I've got Nick, Mason, Carrie Mills. Carrie, are you out there? Oh, there's Kenneth.
I think it's working. Yeah, it's working. Bye, Lucas. There you go.
Chanel. I know Dalton was going to be a little late. And then Lucas, are you out there? Oh, there's Carrie. Okay, so I am missing Elliot, Nick, Mason, Mackenzie.
Mason Gore's here, Miss Melissa. I did see him hop on, and I think I saw his name in the chat.
Oh, I'm sorry. I probably just missed it then. No, okay. Oh, I don't see Mason's in mine. Oh, there's Mackenzie. Okay. Oh yeah, somebody told, there he is. I see you now, Mason. So I'm missing Elliot and Caleb, Chanel, Dalton, and Lucas. Anybody?
If that is you, unmute and say that you are here.
Go ahead and get started, Miss Jennifer. I know a few of them are going to be late. There, a lot of these guys had some academic team issues. There were some stuff going on.
Did
with
you
the
say you
state.
had an announcement you wanted to make
I
before we
did.
started? Okay.
Yes, thank you. Oh, there's Caleb. Your parents should have gotten an email yesterday with a request for your shirt size, and you will get a free STEM Squad short sleeve shirt. However, you can order an extra long sleeve, and your family, your parents can also order shirts too if they want to wear them with you. So I'm going to put that in the chat. If when you get done, you may want to ask your parents or whoever we email if they've got that. All right. So I'm going to put that link in the chat there and make sure we get your shirt size and if you want extras. All right. That's all I've got, Miss Jennifer. It's good to see everybody, and let's get our meeting started.
All right, guys. So from what I understand, you were tasked with the goal the last time that you met. You all received the Endurance Young Readers Edition book. I don't know if anybody has been reading it, but I definitely have. I actually read the actual book, I don't know, maybe sometime last year, I guess. So it was nice to be able to start to refresh some of that and get a lot of that back in my brain because I forgot what a great book this is. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to have a discussion going through some questions that I've came up with, but I'm sure you guys have probably came up with some things on your own that you want to discuss. Remember, though, if you have read more than the first 3 chapters, we are only discussing these first 3 chapters because that is what you were assigned right now. So if you have read beyond that, please don't give us any spoilers. We don't want to know what's happening beyond chapter 3. All right. So I know some really exciting stuff happens in this book. Some really good stuff happens, but don't give us any spoilers. We only want to know what's going on in the first 3 chapters. So we're going to get started. I'm going to go ahead and pop up my first question here, and I want you to start thinking about it. If you have an answer for this question, you can throw it in the chat, or you can raise your hand, and I'll have you unmute and answer it too. So my first question to you is, growing up, what kind of relationship did you notice that Scott had with his twin brother Mark? Any ideas? What kind of relationship? Oh gosh, I see lots of hands already, Miss Melissa. You may have to help me go through some of these hands. Bennett, I see yours on my list first. Go ahead, Bennett, unmute and tell us what you think.
Scott, Scott and his twin brother were really engaged with the same things. They both loved risking each other's lives for the fun of it. Like, they weren't scared of anything. Also, that book really was pretty short. It took me at least a whole week to finish the whole entire thing. It was fun.
Awesome. Yes, I do definitely think that the two brothers definitely feed off one another, and I think they continue to do that even into adulthood, just from things that I see them posting on social media too. Definitely risk takers. They definitely were. How about Emery? I see your hand up. You're next on my list. You want to share what you thought?
I thought they were like reckless. I mean, it was crazy. And when was it Mark was the older one, right? He
I think maybe so. I don't know how many minutes apart they were. I don't know. Did it say? I don't remember.
He helped he helped Scott through a lot of things.
He definitely did. I kind of feel like he had almost, even though they were twins, it was almost like he was a big brother to him in a lot of ways. All right. Is it Evelyn? Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Evelyn? You're up next. Evelyn. All right, Evelyn, let's hear what you think. I see your hand is up.
I think that both of them, they do have a great idea with the trying new ideas, but they are a little bit like, I'm surprised that they aren't scared of doing any of that.
I agree. I'm not a big risk taker, so I'm surprised they weren't scared by more of the things that they were doing. That's for sure. Next step I have now, you just gave this pronunciation to Miss Melissa, but I missed it. Is it Aria? Oh, you're muted.
Off mute.
Now, oh, yeah, you're muted again. Okay, there we go. Did I pronounce it right? Is it Aria?
Yes, you pronounced it correctly. I thought that they were both kind of like joined together by all the risks they took. Oh, and also they did say how many minutes apart. It was either 2 or 3. I forgot.
Yeah, that's not long at all, huh? 2 or 3 minutes apart. All right, I see Rex's hand up next. Rex, you can go ahead.
They definitely had like a relationship with each other, and they did a bunch of crazy things, like, I don't know, like a lot of things, and they got hurt a lot. And it said that that Scott was like telling Mark that they should take the long way instead of crossing the street. But then like Mark didn't listen to him, and he like got hit by a car, and he got like really hurt. So like they get like really hurt if they do like a lot of risks that they do. Like,
that's true. Sometimes when you take risks, they don't always end up the best. So that's just kind of a chance that you take with risks sometimes too. Definitely. All right. Now I don't think this is Ashley Harmon. Who is this listed under Ashley? I forget.
Eli.
I see you now, Eli. Eli, you can go ahead next. You're next on my hands. Miss Melissa, are you monitoring chat for me? I've got it open to show the hands, so it won't let me open both. Can you monitor the chat and see if there's anything you want to share in the
Sure. I'm looking at it pretty much what everybody's saying. So
Okay, good.
I'll
All right.
bring up something if it's unique.
Excellent. All right, Eli, we're ready for you, bud.
So they're kind of like one person. They're very, very much alike, and they take risks sometimes, and sometimes they don't. So it's pretty much like you're a team, you argue, but you're still like stuck together.
Definitely. I think that twins have a very close relationship for sure. So they definitely seem like they have a lot of similarities too. All right. Next up on my hands list over here, I have Nick. Nick, are you ready?
Yeah, they were always they're risk takers, but they're also very lucky somehow. They always manage to make it through.
Yeah, that's good because that doesn't always happen, does it? Yeah, I agree. What are your thoughts, Brantley? I've got you up next.
It's like they want to get hurt and they like getting hurt.
Yeah, maybe they do a lot of things that could get them hurt for sure. What do you think, Colin? Oh, that's not Colin neighbor, is it? Is it Colin? Is that right? Yeah, there you are. I see you. You can go ahead, Colin.
They do everything together, like even when they're not like taking risks and having fun. They went to their grandparents' house together, always like played together, and yeah, did reckless things together.
Definitely. All right, Drew, let's hear your thoughts.
So it's kind of along the lines of what everybody else was saying. They're reckless together. They loved each other. They did everything together. But I think that sometimes, every now and then, there might have been a little bit of sibling rivalry. Like, for example, um, uh, uh, you're scared of this, and like I can do it better than yours or something, and like one might be there's like one I think that was sort of more of a risk taker and sometimes and the other person might have played it safe and they're just yeah.
So lots of sibling rivalry, definitely, especially with boys, I think. Sometimes there's more sibling rivalry with boys. All right, let's go ahead and move on to my second question here. So in the book, we learned that Scott's and Mark's mother became a police officer. So what did you think that Scott learned from watching his mother's efforts to become a police officer? Oh, I see lots of hands here. Let's see. Will, you can go ahead. Do you have thoughts on that, Will?
Well, he learned to work hard. His mom had to work really hard to do that. And maybe just to be like more helpful.
Okay, I agree. I think that's good. Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Who have we not heard from yet? I see some other hands up here. Okay, Miss Carrie, your hand up.
So, okay, I'm unmuted. So what I thought that he learned from his mom was how to really push through the challenges, and he learned a lot of determination, and I think that's how he got through college.
Definitely. I think he definitely learned how to push through some things there. Meredith, I see your hand up.
I was gonna say that I thought he learned like a lot of perseverance and like to never give up and to do it like even if it was hard.
Agree. Well, one of the things I really liked about these first few chapters is that we learned that Scott wasn't necessarily a good student. Did you guys notice that? And that really made me think about there are probably a lot of you that go to school with some kids that maybe aren't the best students, and people sometimes will have the idea of them that they're not doing that great in school. But can you still overcome things like that? So maybe you're not the best at a certain subject. Maybe math is just not your thing. Maybe you're not doing good in it. You might be failing it. But does that mean that in the future you can't overcome that? So I think that was one big great theme that was in this book for sure. That at least the first 3 chapters, that you can overcome things that maybe you're not the best at. You just have to keep practicing it, keep trying and keep working at it, and you can definitely accomplish a lot of great things. Let's see here. I've got Brantley's hand up. Did you have some thoughts, Brantley?
That if whenever you want to do something, you have to try, you have to give it 110% your best effort.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Always give your best effort, even if you try and maybe you only get 10% better. That 10% was better than what you were before. So, yeah, definitely keep trying. Bennett, you have some thoughts? Bennett, I see your hand up. Did you have some thoughts you wanted to share about his mother becoming a police officer? No, not sure where he went. How about Rex? I've got you up here too. Rex, you got any thoughts on that?
What he learned from his mother was that like if you work really hard in life that you can accomplish a lot of things. Like she worked hard to become a police officer. She used him as a practice thing for one of the police officers trials, and so he realized that if she can do that much hard work to become that, that he could even go to the moon or into
Definitely.
space.
I like it. Yes, definitely. What about you, Colin? What are you thinking? Oh, Miss Melissa, did you have something you wanted to
Yeah,
add
I
in
was
there?
gonna say in the hands up thing, it looks like uh, well, Adelma did have her hand up, and go ahead, Adelma. We haven't heard from her.
Miss Jennifer, it said Bennett said that he got kicked off the meeting. He's back though.
Okay, we'll get to. Thank you. Yeah, we'll get to him. So, Adelma, you there? And then
Yeah.
I don't think we've heard from Nick. His hand was up too, Miss Jennifer.
Okay. Adelma, you can go first, and then after that, Nick, we'll hear from you.
Okay. Well, I know that Scott learned that if you work really hard and keep trying, you can achieve your goals from his mother, because she even, I think this is funny, she even used him as kind of like a body mannequin while like training for the course. And I think that because of her accomplishment from working hard, that Scott learned that if he worked hard, he could accomplish his goals and dreams.
Exactly. Definitely. Good theme going there. All right. What are your thoughts, Nick?
Well, I think he learned don't give up, and he also learned slacking off isn't an option. If you want to get something done, you gotta do it. You gotta persevere.
That's exactly right. Even if you are excellent at something, and you don't keep at it and keep practicing something, other people are going to catch up to you and maybe even go beyond you. So you got to persevere. You got to keep on doing what you're doing. Try to get even better at it, even though you may be doing great at it already. Let's move on to our next question here. Let's see. Why do you think Scott says that he probably would have been diagnosed with ADHD when he was a kid? That's kind of common. A lot of us have that. A lot of us struggle with that and have to overcome that. So why do you think that he thinks he might have been diagnosed with that? Emery, you want to go up first?
Yes. Uh, he said it said he couldn't sit still in the book. Like he couldn't pay attention. Yeah.
Yes, and I have that problem a lot too. So that could possibly be me too. Could be me ADHD. Emma, how about you?
He couldn't focus in school and was always really distracted.
Yeah. Do any of you get that way? Very easy. So you've got to learn ways to cope with that and try to get yourself back on track. Let's see, who else have we not heard from? Olivia, do you want to share?
Like he always kept fidgeting and just couldn't focus from everything around him.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely had a hard time focusing on things. Let's see. Let's try to get through one more question before we get to our assignment for this week. So, why do you think that Scott went ahead and decided to go to college, even though he realized he wasn't a good student? So he knew it was going to be hard for him. He knew he wasn't a good student. He didn't have good study skills. Why do you think he went ahead and decided to go to college? Bennett, you're back. You want to share what your thoughts on that?
He wanted to join the Navy so he could get a chance to fly a plane after reading that book that inspired him so much to learn to become a pilot.
Yep, I agree. He did. He read one book and that really inspired him a lot to not give up and to chase his dreams. Adelma, you want to share your thoughts?
So I looked back in my book. The book was called The Right Stuff, and it really inspired him to go to college and continue because he saw how cool the jet pilot flyers were, and he decided that he wanted to go to college and become a jet pilot and fly jets and then go to space one day.
Has that book inspired any of you? Have you read it yet? Look it up. It's a good book.
It is. I've read
Yeah.
it. I'm putting in the chat. It's also a movie, Miss Jennifer, and
Oh,
it is
that's
rated
right.
It's rated PG. Yeah.
Rated PG, The Right Stuff.
It
Yeah.
was from 1983 when I was in high school.
Oh, okay. I didn't know how when that came out.
Yep.
So hopefully by the end of STEM Squad, you all will have the right stuff and we'll be able to go to space camp. All right, we got it time for maybe one or two more friends to share. Rex, you want to go ahead and share your thoughts? Rex, did you want to share? Oh, there you are.
Yeah. He couldn't pay attention in class. He like looked out the window and daydreamed and he just didn't pay attention at all in like any of his classes, and that made him have really bad grades because he didn't listen to what the teachers were teaching the people. And that lasted until his end of high school. But then in college, everything changed and he's been focusing better and he got better grades.
Yeah, definitely. So, Evelyn, do you want to share? I think you may be our last. Do you want to go ahead and share?
So he knew that he had bad grades and stuff, but he read the book and it inspired him to go and do that and be a jet flyer.
Yep, it definitely did. Now I see Miss Melissa just put a bonus question in the chat for anyone that recognized Chuck Yeager. Now, Chuck Yeager, he was a friend of ours here at the center for a while. We had a groundhog that was in the center, not in the center. Well, actually, he tried to come in the center a few times. He tried to come in our front door, but he lived out here, and that was his nickname to us. But Miss Melissa has challenged you all with doing a little research on figuring out who Chuck Yeager was. See if you can figure that out. All right, guys. So I hope the first few chapters of this book inspired you to think beyond where you are right now. So maybe you're struggling a little in school. Maybe you're some things that maybe you're just not the best at. It doesn't even have to be things at school. Maybe sports. Maybe some other things maybe you're not the best at. So hopefully, I hope he inspired you some to keep at it, keep trying at it, and to realize that even if you aren't the best at something, you can still enjoy it and still go after it and still chase the dreams that you have, because you can accomplish a lot of things if you just put your mind to it and keep at it. So, Miss Melissa, any final thoughts about the book that you want to share?
Nope. It sounds like they've read it, and some of them have read it all. Sounds like so. We'll tell them at in person what to read next.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and start talking to you about what we want you to do for next week. So make sure we are out of the chat for now. All right. So I know you guys have been kind of chatting with one another, but I want you to pay attention to what our assignment is, because this is what we are going to be talking about and focusing on next week when we meet in person. So this month's topic is astronomy. So we are going to be learning about the stars and learning about some things that we can see in our night sky. So what my first assignment is for you guys for this week is I want you to figure out if there are any planets that are visible in the night sky right now. So if you were to go out tonight or go out one day and then one night in the next few days, I want you to figure out if there are any planets in the night sky that are visible right now. Again, remember, out of the chat right now, we're just getting our assignment for now. And if so, if there are planets in the sky, which ones are they? Which ones can we see? And how can you tell the difference between a star and a planet? So there's a really easy way to do that. So see if you can do some research on that and figure that out, so that when we meet next week, we'll talk a little bit more about that. And hopefully we'll make a visit to our Star Lab Planetarium next week too, so we can get a better handle on some of these things too. And then also another thing I would really like for you to do is track the Big Dipper. So one key thing to being able to track stars and use stars to help you with navigation, you need to be able to tell where the Big Dipper is. That's one big thing that'll help you figure that out. So if you go out in the night sky, try to track the Big Dipper until we meet next week. So try to go out every night if possible. I know there's probably going to be a couple nights it might be a little too cold or maybe rainy or so, but try to go out at night, see if you can spot the Big Dipper in the sky and track it. We'll see if it's changed any between now and next week. And also, again, look to see if you can see any of the planets in
Miss
the night
Jennifer,
sky.
can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
When they track, draw the horizon. Can you see me? Because I can't find myself.
I see you, yes.
Okay. Draw the horizon, and then draw where the Big Dipper is each night and see if it changes.
Sounds
So
good.
kind of keep track of that.
And then we'll talk about it next week, and hopefully we'll talk a little bit more about using those stars and constellations and things in order for navigation. So that's our assignment, trying to see if we can see any planets in the sky this week, which ones we see, and how we can tell that they're even a planet and not a star. All right.
So I put all that in the chat, Miss Jennifer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Before I forget, I'm going to tell them that this has been recorded, and I will send the link to their email that they've given us if they need to watch that or want to re-listen or see what the assignment is. And I'll put the assignment in that email also.
Sounds excellent.
Any
All
questions?
right, guys.
Yeah.
Any questions? If you have some questions, throw them in the chat really quick. What is a planetarium? Can anybody answer that for him? What's a planetarium? Eli, what's a planetarium?
It's a place where you watch stars.
And you can also see planets. So yeah, so planetarium's where you can go and see some things in the night sky. So we've got a portable planetarium here at the Challenger Center called a Star Lab. So we take it to different schools, and sometimes we have it set up here too. So some of you, we may actually be coming to your school this year. If you're in the 6th grade, there's a few schools we'll be going to in December. But yeah, that's the plan. Drew, the next chapters will be assigned to you at the meeting, Miss Melissa says, for the book. So I'd say you'd be safe to read at least the next chapter. It's going to be at least one chapter, you know that for sure.
Miss Jennifer Rex asked, yes, what the assignment that she just gave you are to be done at home.
Or to do at home, Rex. So
For
at
next
night.
week.
So try to look up and see if you can find if there are any planets in the night sky. So there are some great websites
Make sure you're muted.
and things like that you can look that stuff up with. So yeah, do that, and then we'll talk about it when we meet next week. Any other questions before we get off of our meeting for today? Yeah, there's some good apps that you can do that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's how I do it a lot.
I do it a lot too. Yeah, I've definitely been it. Probably refresh your memory. I have to do that sometimes.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about the book next week and give you your next assignment on that.
All right, well, squad members, that is the end of our second virtual meeting here. So we will see all of you next Thursday at 4:15. That's our meeting. So we'll see you here in person, and we will talk a little bit more about astronomy.
I have a question. What if you already know the answer to the planet part of our...
Save it for next week.
Yep, save it for next week. That's awesome, Brantley, if you know it, but don't share it. We don't want to spoil it because we want other people to figure that out. That's right.
Make sure you're right. You might want to just double check.
The in-person meeting, Elliot, is next Thursday. Thursday night, a week from tonight at 4:15.
Everybody's got that information. Parent or adults do. So we're good. All right, guys.
All right.
Say thank you to Miss Jennifer.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye. Thanks for hopping on.
Go look for that Big Dipper. It's almost dark.
I can't see the Big
book,
Dipper. There's no stars at my place.
We really won't probably have book discussions at the in-person meeting, but you feel free to bring the book if you want. Bye, guys.